Welcome to Football Game Plan's Power Rankings. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. This is week 3 of the football season, week 2 NFL, week 3 in college football. Let's start the show off this time by taking a look at some stock up and stock down. Let's start with someone whose stock is up, and that's quarterback Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills. He's coming off his first 300-yard passing game of his NFL career in an impressive win versus the New York Jets. Allen is money inside the red zone and is looking to make this past Sunday more of the norm this season. Now, whose stock is down? The Florida State Seminoles. After their loss against the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, the Seminoles just came out completely flat after that rain delay, allowing Georgia Tech to creep back in and ultimately win the game. They have to play better. Staying in college football, the Louisiana Ragin Cajuns stock is definitely up after upsetting Iowa State. That victory was the Cajuns' first road win versus a ranked opponent in program history, and as a result of that win, catapulted themselves into the top 25 for the first time since 1943. And wrapping up with the Cleveland Browns' new head coach Kevin Stefanski, his stock being down after the drubbing they took from the Baltimore Ravens this past weekend. The offense ran the ball well, I thought, but the passing game, which was supposed to be the reason why he was brought in, struggled to find consistent success. He's hoping that isn't the case on Thursday night as they take on the Cincinnati Bengals. And that's it for this week's edition of Stock Up, Stock Down. Now it's time to unveil our Week 2 NFL Power Rankings. The Jets look completely unprepared on both sides of the ball against the Buffalo Bills and left the game a bit banged up as well. Now, granted, it was week 1, but they will need a lot of folks to get better in order for them to stay out of the cellar in these power rankings. The Miami Dolphins offense didn't fare particularly well versus the New England Patriots defense that was replacing a lot of starters from their 2019 season. Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 3 picks and the run game was non-existent. Defensively, they struggled to contain Cam Newton, all of which led to their demise up there in Foxborough. Cincinnati came close to a win in Joe Burrow's NFL debut. This was a game of what ifs for the Bengals, but at least you saw some of the fight that you wanted to see from this group. But unfortunately, they lost far too many close games like this last year, and hopefully it's not a trend in 2020. I thought the New York Giants came out and played much better than expected on Monday Night Football against the Pittsburgh Steelers. There are some good things they can take from this ball game, but they have to find their consistency for the duration of the game and not just in quick spurts. The Cleveland Browns check in at number 28. Again, on paper, this is a top 15 team, but on the field, they can't seem to get out of their own way. At least Nick Chubb and running back Kareem Hunt provide some stability to an unstable situation. Detroit was so close to a victory against the Chicago Bears, and you feel for rookie running back DeAndre Swift for that dropped game-winning touchdown pass. However, I came away impressed with how better the Lions looked defensively over last year, and that's something to build on moving forward. I said last week that I had no questions about this Panthers offense heading into the season, and it was a defense that concerned me the most with all of those young players that we're going to put out there on the field. And as that young group matures, they should get a lot better as the season goes on. Minshew mania in Duval County as the Jaguars upset the Indianapolis Colts. Minshew went 19-20, throwing 3 touchdown passes, while the defense made the Colts one-dimensional, all of which contributed to a win in their home opener. Speaking of winning in their home opener, the Washington football team, led by franchise quarterback Dwayne Haskins and a superb defensive effort, was able to battle back from 17 points down and knock off the Philadelphia Eagles in their first win in 5 tries versus Philly. The Chargers were able to gut out a win against the Bengals, but you hope to see a much better effort offensively, as they have to be much better than the 16 points they scored last weekend. If they want to make some serious noise in the division, that part of their game has to improve. I will step aside for a minute and be back with more Football Game Plan's Power Rankings. Be sure to order your copy of the Go-Go Offense by Coach Brennan Marion on footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. Coach Marion goes through the ins and outs of his explosive offense, one that's tearing up the college football field and putting a lot of points on the scoreboard. Again, you can order your copy at footballgameplan.com/GoGoOffense. What a bounce-back game for Mitchell Trubisky, getting hot down the stretch and capping off the comeback win versus the Lions with a perfect dime for the touchdown. The Bears need him to string together games like this for an entire game and the length of a 16-game season. The Broncos started off hot against the Tennessee Titans but couldn't take advantage of 4 missed field goals by Tennessee. However, there was enough defense and flashes on offense in that game to get you excited about the rest of the year. San Francisco didn't have an answer for Kyler Murray and also suffered an injury to tight end George Kittle in a loss versus the Cardinals. While it was just week 1, this team looks to be in a post-Super Bowl funk right out of the gate. Although the Eagles imploded against Washington, the fact that they still had a 17-point lead with a reshuffled offensive line and an offense that was missing Miles Sanders and Alshon Jeffrey, I'd say that they should be fine moving forward. The key is to not let this one loss become 2 next week. Minnesota's defense struggled a bit against Green Bay, but that should have been expected as they were playing some young players in the secondary. But at some point, Kirk Cousins has to become much more of an asset, not a liability out there on the field in order for them to really challenge in the NFC. Atlanta looked rusty against Seattle in a loss. Defensively, they just couldn't recapture that level of execution that they finished the season with last year. Offensively, they had a hard time getting a key on Jamal Adams, who made a hell of a debut with his new squad. The Texans have to be much better defensively, especially on third downs if they want to get this thing right and going in the right direction. They struggled to get the Chiefs off the field, and that ultimately doomed them in the season opener. The Raiders offense looked alive against the Carolina Panthers, doing very well on both ends of offense, and hopefully what we saw from them defensively was just a mere aberration and not a sign of things to come. Although, to their credit, they came up with the biggest play of the game on 4th down for the win. The Los Angeles Rams hit the ground running against the Dallas Cowboys, keeping their defense guessing and ultimately gassing them out en route to a victory. They looked like a well-oiled machine last weekend, and if that's the case moving forward, watch out for them in the NFC West. Indianapolis checks in at number 13. Yes, they lost to the Jaguars. Yes, they lose Marlon Mack for the season, but this is still a very good football team that had a chance to win late in that ball game. I think they'll be fine, but this is one hell of a wake-up call for the Colts. The Bucs got their wake-up call in the Superdome last weekend against the New Orleans Saints, as Tom Brady and that offense just couldn't find a rhythm consistently against a very tough Saints defense. I think the Bucs defense did some good things out there against the Saints, as their offense did, but consistency comes with continuity, and we'll see them get better moving forward. And the Tennessee Titans showed confidence in Stephen Gostkowski, trusting him with the game on the line after missing 4 field goals as well as missing an extra point, and he showed his gratitude by crushing that game winner out there in Denver.
Man, it's that old thing, perseverance, consistency, hard work. My goal is to put the same work into, my businesses, my family that I put into football, and I've been running with that mantra since I got married back in '97. That if I'm going to have a successful marriage, I got to, the same hard work and same consistency and discipline I had on the football field, I got to put in my marriage and with my kids and with my businesses and all that. So it teaches you a lot, man. How to deal with your fellow man and not look at his color, but look at what he can do for the overall good of what you're trying to accomplish. So sports to me in general is just an incredible deal when you talk about football specifically, because of the closeness of guys. I just believe it's an amazing sport.
Welcome back, Big Ben, as he started to get his football legs underneath him as the Giants game went on, and really helped seal the deal with his touchdown pass to Juju Smith-Schuster toward the end of the ball game. You figure this offense will continue to get better, and their defense is already in midseason form. Despite the loss, the Dallas Cowboys were still in position to win that game against the Rams, which is all you can ask for. What has to change, though, is the defense that got pushed around by Rams offense. That can't happen if they want to be serious Super Bowl contenders. Look out for the Arizona Cardinals in the NFC West. I like what they did defensively to frustrate quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo, and a more judicious running Kyler Murray is going to be a dangerous one for opposing defenses down the line. Buffalo has some of the best continuity along the line of scrimmage entering the season, and it showed on Sunday. They dominated the Jets in that regard, and Josh Allen played the best game of his career, making themselves a team to be reckoned with in the AFC. Oh, by the way, the team up north in Foxborough was able to dominate and win like we've seen them do for the last 20 years. Just this time, it was with the former league MVP in Cam Newton. Now, Cam is Cam, but it was an impressive performance by their defense against the Miami Dolphins, picking off Ryan Fitzpatrick 3 times. The Green Bay Packers offense looked as if they played 5 preseason games heading into their opener versus the Minnesota Vikings with how crisp and sharp they look offensively. On the other side of the ball, their defense did a fantastic job of frustrating Kirk Cousins all throughout the game. Russell Wilson and that Seahawks offense was outstanding against the Falcons in their Week 1 victory, and like we mentioned earlier, Jamal Adams was stunning in his debut, making himself comfortable in that Falcons backfield all throughout the game. Now, the Saints had a lot to celebrate after their impressive win versus the Bucs. It was a total team effort. Offense, defense, special teams, they all got the job done and looked like the team to beat in the NFC. So does Baltimore, albeit on the AFC side, with the reigning MVP Lamar Jackson picking up right where he left off last year, completing 80% of his passes and tossing 3 touchdowns. If this continues, he could have back-to-back MVP years in such a short career. Now, at number 1, until someone knocks him off, all the reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Former MVP Pat Mahomes is arguably the best quarterback in the game and now has a budding star at running back in Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who went over 100+ yards in his debut against the Houston Texans. Once again, everyone is chasing the champs. We'll just have to wait and see if anyone is able to catch him. So that's it for this edition of Football Game Plan's Power Rankings. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media accounts. And don't forget to check out and subscribe to the Football Game Plan Network located at youtube.com/footballgameplan. Also subscribe on iTunes to Football Game Plan Podcast and leave us a 5-star rating.